The arrogant attitude of Song Wenlong turned 180 degrees. With tears welling up in his eyes, he no longer cared about his own dignity and directly knelt down to apologize. Boss, I know I was wrong. I will never dare to touch a single hair on the person in front of me again. Lin Ke bent down, looked at the gangster, and lightly threatened. Remember the words you've just said. Song Wenlong was so scared that his face lost all color. He turned to Qin Han and said, Qin Han, let them go. Qin Han seemed dissatisfied and replied, Are we just going to let these scum go? Damn, they're really getting off too easily. Seeing Qin Han so angry, Lin Ke smiled kindly, put his arm around Qin Han's shoulder and gently soothed. Okay, calm down. When we get back, I'll treat you to a drink. Young Master Qin was no longer angry and his attitude was much more pleasant than before. He politely said, Your business is also my business. The two turned and walked out of the room. In front of the bar, Qin Han said goodbye. Then I'll head out first. They exchanged farewells and went in different directions. Just then, Lin Ke's phone rang. It was a message from King Ren sulking. Oh I'm so hungry. The food in the kitchen isn't good. Can you come over tomorrow afternoon? Yuan is coming over to discuss investment as well. Lin Ke immediately replied, Okay. The next day, at King Ren's company, her office door was pushed open. King Ren seemed to be waiting for this moment, cheerfully exclaimed, Boss Lin arrives right on time, exactly at 12 noon, not a minute more or less. Lin Ke pulled her into his arms, full of concern. I was worried you might starve in your office, so I came quickly. King Ren shyly replied, How could that scenario happen to me? She smiled brightly and immediately pushed her boyfriend into the kitchen. Come on, get into the kitchen. Lin Ke was powerless against her actions. 20 minutes later, a table of lavish food was ready. King Ren was so happy that her eyes sparkled, unable to contain herself. Everything looks delicious, but I've gained 5 pounds already. I feel so guilty. Lin Ke took off the apron and slyly said, I have a way for you to eat as much as you want without gaining weight. King Ren's eyes lit up like headlights and she curiously asked, What way? Lin Ke stepped closer, trapping her in his arms, and flashed a mischievous smile. Just do a little exercise before eating. In an instant, her cheeks flushed and a heated atmosphere enveloped them. Their lips almost touched. Lin Ke gently lifted her shirt, causing King Ren to emit some shy sounds. Just when they reached a climax, Yuan burst through the door, shouting, I've arrived, sister. In the next second, the young girl froze, her face turning red with embarrassment. She timidly spoke up, It seems I came at the wrong time. King Ren immediately got up, feeling embarrassed, and hurriedly said, Don't leave. Don't misunderstand, it's not what you think. Yuan covered her pretty mouth, her eyes conveying a knowing look, and softly said, I also really want to know what's going on that requires this posture. Lin Ke also stood up at this moment and quickly spoke. Is there something going on? Aren't you old enough to understand? Go outside and come back in 2 hours. Yuan immediately accepted the order, turning to prepare to leave. Before that, she didn't forget to sneak a glance at the 2 and T's. 2 hours. The boss is quite powerful. King Ren immediately pushed her boyfriend away, shyly looking at the door, and said anxiously, Why leave? Come back here. On the contrary, Lin Ke was a bit startled. Isn't that better? The girl with a mischievous expression returned to the room. She said in a tone full of dark implications, If the senior won't let me leave, then I guess I'll just stay here and watch for these 2 hours. King Ren quickly playfully hit the girl in front of her a few times, pouting and scolding. You're annoying. Did you come here to discuss the investment? Let's get to the point. A while later, Yuan began presenting the plan. All the procedures for Lang Yun Corporation have been completed and can officially start operations soon. The interviews will begin tomorrow. You're the boss. Do you want to come see a bit? Lin Ke crossed his arms over his chest and replied nonchalantly, That matter can be handled by you and Klai Jiamzhao. I will transfer $1 billion to you first to plan assistance for orphanages. Then it will spread to the impoverished mountainous areas of the country. King Ren quickly added, I think Lang Yun Corporation should focus on its main business with the fund as a secondary consideration. Just do what we can. The man beside him immediately reassured, Don't worry, I won't mix things up. Seeing everyone contributing ideas, Yuan also expressed her opinion from the side. I have a suggestion. We should promote the fund under the name of Lang Yun Corporation. This will bring great benefits to corporate culture. King Ren stroked his chin thoughtfully, then agreed. This suggestion is good. Lang Yun Corporation is currently like a fledgling bird. It still lacks the warmth needed to establish a foothold. Hearing this, Yuan fell silent for a few seconds, then looked up at the person who would fund the project and cheerfully asked Lin Ke, Boss, do you have any opinions? Immediately, Boss Lin wrapped his arms around King Ren and smiled, replying, Your sister has spoken. How can I listen? This action startled Hyunyuan, her gaze carrying a deeper meaning as she joked. I didn't expect it. You're managed so strictly by your wife. One person wanted to find a place to hide while the other laughed joyfully. Suddenly, Hyunyuan remembered something else and quickly changed the subject. Ah, that's right. Recently, Psyche has been very successful in attracting investment. If you let Sister King Ren invest $100 million into it, would there be any suspicions? Lin Ke calmly replied, that was already in my expectations. Is there any other news from Seiki? Yonyuan immediately reported, there is another major development. They have expanded and built an additional factory and imported 5 new sets of equipment. Production capacity could increase by at least 30%. Our orders will likely be ready to ship in about 3 to 4 months. He pondered for a long time and then calmly said, it's been too long. I can't wait any longer. Who is specifically responsible for this? Yonyuan immediately took out a photo from the folder and introduced. This is Cao Xianyu, the son of my colleague Zhang Kao. He just flew back from England and has a younger sister studying there. Having received all the information, Lin Ke praised. Working like this is indeed a loss for you. You should really be working as a detective. She was very pleased with the compliment, but still tried to appear modest. I just want to know people to ensure success in every battle. After that, she quietly observed the 2 people in front of her. Yonyuan continued to present. Boss, the experts all say that Psyche's chip technology has reached the highest level in the chip field in Hoaxia. Lin Ke and King Ren were momentarily surprised by this news. Hyunyuan, with a worried expression, continued to announce, therefore, the compensation terms for us might not be fulfilled. King Ren agreed with what Hyunyuan just said, then advised Lin Ke. Hyunyuan is absolutely right. Why deal with Psyche? He is a researcher. He doesn't have anything to do with you. Lin Ke smiled mysteriously. Don't rush, everyone will know soon enough. Yonyuan then asked, the Langyun Corporation has been established. Have you thought of direction yet? Lin Ke laid out the strategy. At this stage, the goal is to focus on the technology sector, especially large data centers and cloud computing. Utilize all resources as much as possible. Don't be afraid of losing money. Yonyuan immediately took note. Okay, I'll go prepare right now. She stood up and walked out of the room. Now, only Lin Ke and King Ren remained in the room. She also got up, walked next to him, put her hands in her pockets, and they both watched the staff member leave. King Ren linked her arm with her boyfriend affectionately, then winked and revealed, I ordered a formal dress. Will you go pick it up with me? Lin Ke immediately agreed. Sure, why did you order the dress? Is it for attending some event? King Ren replied, there's a charity gala tomorrow, and the leaders of Zhonghai City will also be present. The 2 of them, close and attached, left the room together. She cheerfully continued, your fun has just been established. Why don't you go with me? The next destination for the 2 was Miss Taylor's shop. Inside the shop, King Ren stood in front of the mirror trying on a strapless long dress in burgundy. The staff member next to her suggested, you can try it on first. If you feel uncomfortable anywhere, we will adjust it immediately. King Ren replied, okay. She gathered the dress in her hands and hurried into the fitting room. On her way, she glanced at Lin Ke sitting on a chair reading a newspaper and said, wait here for me for a moment, okay? I'll choose a suit for you in a bit. Lin Ke assured her, yeah, don't worry, I won't go anywhere. After changing, King Ren stepped out, looking incredibly glamorous and beautiful. In addition to the dress, she also wore a gold necklace, which enhanced her beauty even more. She asked everyone, what do you think? Is it beautiful? Her elegance made everyone exclaim in admiration. The staff member put her hand to her mouth and all, while Lin Ke was mesmerized, smiling foolishly with his face flushed, staring intently at his girlfriend. His eyes were glued to the most striking part, and he smiled, praising her. It looks really beautiful. King Ren covered her face with her hands, showing her shyness. While they were talking, a woman approached from behind and spoke to get their attention. Hello? She was wearing an A-line dress suit with square glasses and a ponytail, looking very intellectual. She smiled and suggested to the couple, I think your gown is beautiful. Could you please let me have it? I can pay an additional 20% on the toll price. King Ren was confused by this proposal, looking at her with concern. Lin Ke angrily confronted her. Hey, keep those few spare coins to yourself. Don't take them out. It's so embarrassing. His attitude frightened her. The girlfriend behind him smiled with satisfaction. Lin Ke turned to the store staff and said, wrap it up. Meanwhile, the girl left in frustration. She walked out of the store, approached a white car parked outside, and got inside, still somewhat annoyed by what had just happened. A woman sitting in the car guessed, something happened, right? Immediately, the girl recounted, I saw someone trying on a gown in the store and thought it would look great on you, so I wanted to buy it at a higher price. But the other party just didn't consider it. It's so infuriating. The woman raised her hand to admire her nails and then reassured. Why get angry? Even without that outfit with your charisma, it doesn't mean anything. That girl was the famous superstar Liu Fangfei. She smiled confidently and said, for me, this beauty could make 1 billion people fall. The girl had shiny black hair, wore a summer blue outfit paired with delicate white sleeves. In the huge villa glowing under the sunlight, King Ren was trying on a pair of gold earrings. Her nails were painted red, matching her dress. She looked at herself in the mirror and asked her boyfriend, do you think these earrings go well with this outfit? From behind, Lin Ke stepped forward, wrapped his arms around her waist, rested his cheek against her soft hair, and said sweetly, I feel like only I am suited for someone wearing this outfit. King Ren felt embarrassed, her face turning bright red, and turned to ask, what are you talking about? Lin Ke unexpectedly ran his hand over her body, startling her. He leaned down, gently kissed her delicate shoulder, and said, I'm serious. Why would I lie to you? Then he pulled the zipper of her dress down. In an instant, King Ren grabbed his neck, her other hand holding his hand resting on her waist. The two of them gradually moved closer to each other. Lin Ke smiled suggestively. This spot looks better. Lin Ke fumbled his hand over King Ren's body, trying to pull the dress down while saying, this part is pretty too. The dress slipped to the floor, causing her to exclaim, ah! In a daze, she turned to hug Lin Ke, her eyes closed as if waiting for a kiss. He held her tenderly and said, but this beauty can only be seen by me. The two of them entwined, unwilling to part. Many hours later, at Yunlan Hotel, the sunset had descended. A calm golden-orange hue enveloped the old Japanese-style building. A red carpet stretched out from the entrance. A female star was striding confidently along it, wearing an elegant black halter dress. Following her was her manager. All eyes were on her, with whispers buzzing. Whoa, is that the great star Liu Fangfei? She looks even more beautiful in real life than on TV. Reporters rushed to take pictures, the sound of flashes going off continuously. The star walked confidently, familiar with this scene, and smugly thought to herself, what a bunch of naive bumpkins who haven't experienced life. The assistant ran to notify her. Sister Fei, let's go inside first. Young Master Qin has arrived. Fang Fei turned in surprise to ask, young Master Qin came early like this. She smirked, having already laid out her plans. I must seize young Master Qin. No mistakes can happen. At the same time, Lin Ke and King Ren's car also arrived. The $1 million car gleamed as if it had been meticulously cared for. He looked at the setting of the party, assessing with concern. Why is a charity event rolling out the red carpet like this? It's just like a catwalk. King Ren chuckled lightly and explained, charity events these days focus more on appearance than on meaning. Then she invited him to go inside. Boss Lin, do you want to walk the red carpet with me? Lin Ke politely declined. That's not suitable for me. You go ahead. I'll enter from the parking lot. We'll meet again in the hall. King Ren agreed. All right. Then she stepped out of the car and walked straight into the party along the red carpet. She looked incredibly glamorous and radiant in her dress, jewelry, and accompanying black handbag, which further highlighted her aura. The crowd, initially admiring the star Fangfei, was now in awe of King Ren. They exclaimed, whoa, this woman is stunning. Could she be the new recruit in that corporation? As King Ren elegantly glided by, the reporters quickly shifted their cameras towards her. Her standout presence infuriated Fangfei and her assistant. Fangfei gritted her teeth and growled. Who is that woman? Why are all the reporters taking pictures of her? Fangfei's assistant, upon closer inspection, recognized King Ren. She pointed at King Ren and said, Fei, the one walking on the red carpet is the girl from yesterday. The gown she's wearing is the one I picked. Upon hearing this, Fangfei's expression turned disdainful, and she whispered, so she's riding the wave of the red carpet. Despite appearing confident on the outside, King Ren began to show signs of tension and anxiety in front of the cameras aimed at her. Noticing this, Fangfei's assistant scoffed. Turns out a social media hot girl is just a social media hot girl. Walking so fast, she has no grace at all. These words only fueled Fangfei's frustration further. She coldly remarked, I can't swallow this anger. Her face was filled with murderous intent due to jealousy, mumbling, if I wore that gown, all the cameras would be on me. When she arrives here later, I have to humiliate her. The assistant heard this and immediately took action. Let me go unblock her. They both approached King Ren as she neared the entrance. Fangfei suddenly pointed at her and shouted, Security, what are you doing? Why is a social media hot girl allowed on the red carpet? Hearing a shout, two security guards quickly ran over. One of them awkwardly explained, Miss Liu, this young lady has an invitation. Fangfei, furious, found this absurd. She boldly questioned, what invitation? I don't want to be in the same frame as her. She has lowered the class of this party. If she's here, then I won't be. You can do whatever you want. The two security guards exchanged glances, considered, and then smiled in response. "That's fine, Miss Liu. Please come with us." One of the guards pointed towards the exit. Fang Fei exploded, questioning, "What do you mean?" She didn't want to stand in the same frame as this lady, so we could only invite her to leave the party. Fang Fei was stunned and shouted, "Do you know who I am? How dare you kick me out? I am the superstar Liu Fangfei." The security guard calmly replied, "Miss Liu, this lady is a member of the board of directors of Zhao Yang Corporation, a distinguished guest at the party. It would be best for you to leave." Fang Fei looked at King Ren in surprise, unable to believe her ears. "She's a board member of Zhao Yang Corporation." Her assistant panicked and quickly apologized. "We're really sorry, we made a mistake." Fang Fei stood there in shock, unable to believe what she just heard. At that moment, King Ren could only sigh. Fang Fei bit her lip, thinking, "Young Master Qin is here today. I can't give up so easily." Liu Fangfei unexpectedly changed her attitude, casually saying, "It was just a misunderstanding. Let's forget about it." King Ren and the security guard both felt surprised to see Liu Fangfei letting the matter go without causing further trouble. At this moment, inside the hotel lobby, Lin Ke was dressed in a formal suit, wearing a solid black shirt and a deep blue blazer adorned with sequins. He slipped his hands into his pockets and leisurely walked out of the hotel lobby. Suddenly, Kin Han ran over from a distance, draped his arm over Lin Ke's shoulder, and said with a grin, "Lin, honestly, this outfit makes your wickedness stand out even more." Lin Ke jumped when Kin Han patted his shoulder, turned around to glare at him, and said, "Wicked? Are you talking about yourself?" Kin Han pretended not to hear, still grinning and whispering, "I just met a young woman who's quite good-looking. Could you make me a super VIP pro card to go there?" Lin Ke looked at Chin Han with an exasperated expression, walking away while saying, "I'm not interested. You can enjoy it yourself. As for the card, I can whip one up for you. Consider it a repayment for the past." Kin Han didn't respond, quickly turning to wave goodbye to Lin Ke. "Bro, Boss Chen is over there. I have to go say hi." Lin Ke was looking after Kin Han when suddenly he heard a voice calling from behind. "Mr. Lin." Lin Ke turned around and cheerfully greeted, "Teacher Guo." The person who just called in was Guo. She was wearing a cheongsam, which, despite its simple color, exuded elegance. She smiled at Lin Ke and he said, "What a coincidence, I ran into you here." Guo replied, "Apart from being a professor at the Drama Academy, I am also the vice president of the Zhonghai Culture and Sports Association. I was invited here today." She happily continued, "My husband is also here today, so I can't talk much with you." Having said that, Guo turned and walked away. Kin Han suddenly appeared, put his arm around Lin Ke, looked after Guo as she left, and excitedly said, "No wonder you didn't like the woman I introduced. How could you charm the vice president of culture and sports?" Lin Ke's expression darkened as he angrily said, "Get lost, get lost, get lost. Go play by yourself somewhere else. What nonsense are you talking about?" Despite Lin Ke's irritation, Kin Han continued to laugh heartily as if nothing had happened. Suddenly, a message notification rang out. Lin Ke opened his phone to check, and a chat window with King Ren appeared on the screen. She messaged, "I'm talking with some friends on the second floor. I will come down to meet you later." Lin Ke replied shortly, "Ok." After sending the message, he smiled happily. Lin Ke walked over to the food area, waiting for King Ren. He didn't notice the people chatting behind him, standing alone to get food. On the other side, Liu Fangfei was talking to Zhao Zihao, the general manager of Jia Zhonghai. Zhao Zihao held a glass of wine, his face captivated as he praised Liu Fangfei. "Miss Liu's acting is really excellent. In a few years, the domestic film and television industry will be hers." Liu Fangfei smiled happily and responded, "Young Master Zhao, you're being too polite. I'm just a newcomer." Suddenly, Liu Fangfei's bespectacled assistant, standing behind her, exclaimed in shock, "How could that driver get in here?" The assistant pointed angrily and said, "He's the one who followed that Jai person, tried on clothes, and then scolded me." Liu Fangfei followed the direction the assistant pointed and saw Lin Ke standing alone. She said, "I'll go over there and take a look." She held a grudge about what had just happened, her face turning sinister as she thought, "I have no way to deal with that woman, so I'll vent my anger on you. It should be fine, right?" Liu Fangfei intentionally tripped and fell towards Lin Ke, spilling the wine glass in her hand onto him. Lin Ke heard the noise behind him, quickly turned around, and saw her wine glass flying towards him. He changed his expression and thought, "This woman wants to harm me." He swiftly dodged to the side, causing Liu Fangfei to miss her fall, and the wine glass shattered on the ground. She tumbled to the floor in front of many people. Lin Ke calmly stood and watched as Liu Fangfei lay on the ground. Zhao Zidao rushed over from a distance, helped her up, and asked with a worried tone, "Miss Liu, are you okay?" Liu Fangfei looked at him with a gaze full of hatred. Zhao Zihao turned to Lin Ke with an angry attitude and said loudly, "What's wrong with you? You see her fall and do nothing to help, just standing there." Lin Ke sighed, frowned, and replied, "How does her falling concern me?" Hearing this, Liu Fangfei gritted her teeth in anger, trying to suppress the pain as she stood up, pointing at Lin Ke's face. "What nonsense are you talking about? Clearly you made me fall, and now you say it has nothing to do with you." Lin Ke was equally unyielding, his face displeased, coldly saying, "Speak properly. If you're weak on your feet, go find the person who slept with you yesterday to lean on. Following me won't benefit you at all." Liu Fangfei was speechless, only managing to utter one word, "You?" Zhou Zihao saw that she was at a disadvantage, so he stepped forward, pointed a finger at Lin Ke, and shouted, "You brat, I suggest you apologize to Miss Liu immediately. If not, you won't be at peace with me. With my father's connections in Zonghai, killing you would be a piece of cake." Ignoring Zhao Zihao and Liu Fangfei's outrage, Lin Ke maintained a cold expression. At that moment, due to the noise, Kin Han appeared, surprising everyone. He asked, confused, "What's going on? Is anyone hurt?" Suddenly, Liu Fangfei's expression changed, and she greeted Kin Han cheerfully, leaving both Lin Ke and Zhao Zihao astonished. She warmly said, "Hello, young Master Qin. Do you remember me? I'm Liu Fangfei." Seeing Kin Han arrive, Zhao Zihao immediately got angry and pointed at Lin Ke to accuse him. "Young Master Qin, you're here. This guy deliberately made Miss Liu fall. You should take care of him." Unlike the hateful expression she had when talking to Lin Ke, Liu Fangfei now adopted a sweet tone, pretending to be innocent as she spoke to Kin Han. "Young Master Qin, even though he did make me fall on purpose, I'm fine. Thank you for your concern." After she finished speaking, Kin Han showed a look of disdain, replying coldly, "Concern for what? Is there really such a thing as him making you fall on purpose? Do you think you deserve to be treated like that by him?" Hearing this, Liu Fangfei felt a bit confused and scared. Beads of sweat began to form on her face. Before Lin Ke could collect himself, Kin Han shouted directly at her, "Lin Ke is my good friend. If you dare to touch him, don't expect to earn a living in Zhonghai." The faces of Zhao Zihao and Liu Fangfei turned pale, shocked, and unable to believe what they had just heard. The two turned to Lin Ke, hurriedly bowing their heads in apology. Liu Fangfei said in fear, "I'm sorry, I realized my mistake, Mr. Lin." Zhao Zihao added, "That's right, sincerely sorry." After saying this, both quickly turned and ran away, not daring to say anything else. Lin Ke watched them go inside softly. Kin Han approached, putting an arm around Lin Ke and smiling cheerfully. "Hey, Lin Ke, let me take you upstairs. Just come down when the party starts." Lin Ke agreed. "All right, maybe it'll be a bit quieter up there." Upstairs was an outdoor scene with beautiful flowers and a resting place under a greenhouse. King Ren was happily chatting with her friends. After bringing Lin Ke upstairs, Kin Han waved goodbye. "I'm going to hang out over here. Call me if you need anything." Lin Ke replied, "Okay, I'll be fine. You go ahead." Suddenly, two people rushed by, catching Lin Ke's attention due to their noisy presence. He heard one person ask the assistant, "Is the gift for Boss Lady G ready?" The assistant replied, "It is ready, sir." The assistant presented two items, one hand holding an expensive diamond ring and the other hand holding a bunch of deep red roses. The other person took the bouquet, ran a hand through his blue hair, smiled, and adjusted his outfit. That person was Zhao Zhenyang, the founder of Hong Kenjin. Lin Ke, who was standing behind, saw Zhao Zhenyang's face and his expression darkened. Zhao Zhenyang turned to the assistant and said, "Go tell them to leave, but don't be too extreme. Use money to drive them away. I don't want King Ren to know I have a domineering personality." The assistant nodded and replied, "Understood, Boss Zhao. I'll take care of it right away." With that, the assistant went out to persuade each person present to leave. When he reached Lin Ke, the assistant politely said, "Hello, sir. Later we would like to confess our feelings to a lady here. Therefore, we kindly ask you to leave this place. Who will pay you?" Lin Ke smirked. "Pay? How much?" The assistant took a stack of money, all in $100 bills, and placed it in front of Lin Ke, saying, "This is your money. I hope you will accept it." Lin Ke glanced at the assistant, sneering. "What kind of joke is this? Did you really think someone who got to this place would need your $5,000? The assistant's expression did not change. He happily took out another stack of cash and continued, "Then how about $20,000 for 10 minutes to temporarily leave this place?" Lin Ke frowned and then broke into a sly smile. $100,000 for 10 minutes deal. Before the assistant could respond, Zhao Shenyang appeared out of nowhere, looking at Lin Ke and saying, "Sir, whatever you do, you should think ahead. I hope you know your place." Lin Ke showed no intention of changing his mind and taunted Zhao Shenyang. $100,000 isn't too much. If you can't afford such a small amount, what gives you the right to pursue someone else's daughter? Lin Ke's words struck Zhao Zhenyang's pride, causing him to change his attitude. Zhao Zhenyang pulled out a check from his wallet, glanced at Lin Ke, and said jokingly, "A kid like you knows to seize the opportunity. I'll give you $100,000 to completely buy your departure from here." Lin Ke reached out to take the check, smiling as he said, "Boss, I wish you success in your confession." Zhao Zhenjiang was left full of question marks, not understanding what he was talking about. Meanwhile, Lin Ke placed his hand on King Ren's waist. Seeing him, she happily asked, "Did you come up here?" Lin Ke smiled and replied, "I didn't see you come down, so I thought I'd come up and check." King Ren pointed to her close friends and explained, "We haven't seen each other in a while, so we were catching up a bit longer than expected." One of her friends suddenly exclaimed, "So this handsome guy came to find you, huh? The banquet's about to start, so you two should hurry down. Business matters are still important. We'll catch up another time." King Ren thought it made sense and bid farewell. "Sister Zhang, Sister Xu, we'll head down first then." In the end, Lin Ke hugged King Ren and led her away, leaving everyone stunned, especially Zhao Zhenyang's group. They stood there, jaws dropped, unable to believe their eyes. Zhao Zhenyang gritted his teeth in anger. "We've been totally played by that kid." One of his men nodded and asked in confusion, "Boss Zhao, are we really going to let this slide so easily?" Zhao Zhenjiang clenched his fist and said through gritted teeth, "Look at that jerk with his slick mouth and cocky attitude. He's definitely a person who lives off a rich woman. Just wait, when the time is right, I'll make sure to deal with him properly." In the main banquet hall, the couple stood next to each other. There was also the MC on stage, excitedly saying, "I sincerely thank the leaders. Our charity gala officially begins." The music started playing and the couples began to hold hands and dance. Lin Ke felt a bit confused at this moment. "Isn't this a charity gala? Why is there a dance?" King Ren explained, "The gala is just a name. According to the procedure, we have to start with a dance and then proceed to the auction. The money raised for the auction will be donated to the charity project. I hope the process will go as planned." After saying that, she took Lin Ke's hand and they joined together in the rhythm of the music. Their feet moved slowly, both looking at each other passionately, as if only each other existed in their eyes. When the music ended, King Ren leaned back. Lin Ke instinctively held her waist, helping her complete the move. She was truly amazed and praised him. "Lin Ke, how could you dance this well?" From a distance, Zhao Shenyang saw the two being so close and couldn't help but feel angry, thinking to himself, "A person who lives off a rich woman dares to play with me. Just wait and see." Suddenly, Lin Ke's phone rang. He took it out and realized someone was calling. He laughed and answered, "Are you so free that you called me?" The man on the other end replied in a painful voice, "I have acute appendicitis and I'm being hospitalized. Can you come teach a class for me tomorrow? Otherwise, the homeroom teacher will deduct my points." Lin Ke was quiet for a moment and then asked, "Are you okay? I'm free tomorrow too. Just send me the time, location, and content of the class." The next day at the school swimming pool, the students excitedly applauded and welcomed. "Teacher Lin has come to our swimming class today." Seeing the warm welcome, Lin Ke felt a bit happy. He said, "I'm just here to teach one class. Why are you so excited?" "All right, let's get in the pool and start the lesson." Inside the swimming pool room, a group of male and female students was happily playing in their swimsuits. A brown-skinned student came to ask George, "George, it's almost time to gather for class. Aren't you going?" George casually ran his fingers through his hair and replied, "Not going. My goddess has a class here. I have to stay and swim to wait for her." The brown-skinned student was surprised. "Oh no, have you changed the goddess again?" The swimming pool door opened and Lin Ke entered with his group of students. He was taken aback when he saw the group of students in the room. He frowned and thought, "What are these people doing here? Isn't it the school's rule that everyone must wear swimsuits?" Lin Ke and his group of students approached the pool. Seeing another group of students also coming closer, he became even more confused. How did these people get in here? A female student, overhearing, explained, "Mr. Lin, they are international students, so they can come and go as they please." The blonde young man smiled provocatively, raised his hand to greet the teacher, and burst into a terrifying laugh, causing the girl standing behind Lin Ke to tremble in fear. George, the blonde young man, teased, "Hello, classmate Wang. I'm George, an international student majoring in Chinese language and culture. I'm from Italy. Can we be friends?" George's demeanor and words frightened the girl hiding behind Lin Ke to the point of tears, and she called out, "Mr. Lin." Seeing her frightened expression, Lin Ke became angry and shouted, "According to school rules, students are not allowed in the swimming pool without permission. Don't you know that?" The blonde young man calmly replied, "Ah, you're the new teacher, right? I'm an international student. We have to be able to swim. A truly romantic Italian like me will die if I can't swim. He continued to tease the female student. Goddess, I know you're shy, but the more we interact, the more you'll see that I'm extremely charming. Even though George was confident, the girl's fearful expression said it all. Before she could calm down, she hurriedly explained, I don't like foreigners, so please keep your distance. He didn't understand and confidently replied, Italy is a romantic country, much better than many who don't understand charm here. George's words now sounded like provocation. Indeed, the people present were visibly annoyed. One person stepped forward, pointing at George, and yelled, Don't show off here. He seemed to enjoy teasing others, laughing loudly and taunting, Come on, come and fight us. I'm sure if you do that, the school will expel you immediately. Feeling encouraged, the young men behind him responded with even more excitement. Weren't you bragging about how good your martial arts are? Are you really just a bunch of weaklings? The students were all furious upon hearing this, but they could only clench their fists and watch the others laugh triumphantly. Some could hold back, but Lin Ke could not. Indifferent as if he heard nothing, he kicked the blonde young man hard in the stomach, causing him to bleed, and said, Wherever you live, especially in school, how can you be so arrogant? When Lin Ke stretched his legs out straight, it was also the moment the reckless young man fell into the pool. His powerful kick left the students present shouting, Teacher Lin is so handsome. Teacher Lin is the best. His companions standing above could only stand with their mouths agape, somewhat trembling with fear. The blond young man, after regaining some strength, swam to the shore. The dark-skinned man ran over to ask George, Are you okay? Despite the dark-skinned man's enthusiasm, George, still angry about the earlier kick, pointed at Lin Ke and shouted, How dare you do that to me? You guys can forget about finishing this lesson. The blond young man's pants fell down, exposing his hairy legs. He wore a mischievous grin and casually urinated in the pool. Lin Ke's face showed a hint of helplessness and speechlessness. The female students, embarrassed, covered their faces and yelled, How shameless! George's delighted face turned back around to challenge. Ha ha! If you guys don't mind, just keep learning. The other young men, seeing their companion pleased, quickly took off their pants and followed suit, shamelessly laughing. Hey friends, keep going. It's just the right time for me to go to the bathroom. Let's take care of it here. The scene at that moment had nothing to cover it. Streams of water began to overflow into the pool continuously. Everyone present was outraged by the scene, but no one dared to do anything. They could only think to themselves that these people were outrageous. After finishing what they came to do, they'd put their pants back on and walked away confidently. Before leaving, they did not forget to turn around and provoke Lin Ke. Fellow students, let's go. Don't disturb their swimming lesson anymore. Lin Ke began to smile slyly and responded, If you want to go, fine, but you must get rid of all this dirty water for me. George turned around and shouted, You're dreaming, teacher. Also, I will report to the principal about you kicking me later. Just wait to be fired. Lin Ke seemed unable to bear it any longer and quickly approached, causing the blonde youth's confidence to shift to panic. With a face full of resentment, Lin Ke struck hard at the once confident face. The punch, long awaited, sent the youth flying far away. Lin Ke looked at the body flying far and calmly said, One kick is too little for you to sue me, so I'll give you a few more to make it enough. The brown-haired youth saw his teammate go down and rushed in with a fist, but Lin Ke was not to be outdone. He turned to grab the incoming fist, spun around, tripped the unreleased student, tossed him into the air, and executed a powerful throw. The lethal blow sent his opponent crashing hard to the ground in pain. The surrounding students witnessed the scene, cheering and shouting, Teacher Lin is so powerful. He's so handsome. Not letting the cheers distract him, Lin Ke continued to use powerful punches to take down each one. After defeating them all, he clapped his hands as if to conclude the match. The girls on the opposing side, with fearful faces, ran away in chaos. He turned around, looking with an angry gaze, causing them to flee in terror. As they ran, they shouted for help. Help! While being beaten up like that, the blond youth, upon seeing Lin Ke approach, was instantly frightened, his face pale, raising his hands to defend himself and yelling loudly, Don't come over here. If you dare touch me, the school will expel you right away. Ignoring his words, Lin Ke quickly grabbed the blonde head, turned around with a face full of resentment, and dragged the rebellious youth along. He was both scared and calling for help, but Lin Ke still pulled him to the pool containing the disgusting stuff he had just disposed of. Sensing something was wrong, he shouted, What do you want to do? Lin Ke, with an angry face, grabbed the youth's head and pushed it down into the clear water that he had just polluted. He pressed down firmly, coldly saying, In this pedagogical university, no one has dared to touch me yet. Feeling somewhat satisfied, Lin Ke smiled at the dejected face of the young blonde man and asked, Have you had enough to drink? The young blonde man seemed to have no strength left to resist and hurriedly said, I, I was wrong. You are a devil. Lin Ke, usually with a saintly expression, turned around, smiled, and said to the others, "And what about the rest of you? Do you want me to do it myself too?" Hearing this, the group of young people behind him panicked, their faces pale as if they had just witnessed a horrifying scene. They instinctively bowed their heads, burying their faces in the pure water to drink. However, the girls were still unwilling, and they ran to find another teacher. When he entered and saw the chaotic scene before him, he shouted loudly, "What is going on here?" It turns out the one who came is Vice Principal Feng. Feng Jinadong angrily looked at Lin Ke and yelled, "What are you all doing?" Like finding a lifeline, the pale-faced young blonde raised his hand in desperation and complained, "Vice Principal Feng, why did you arrive so late? Teacher Lin is being unreasonable with us, making us drink pool water. We want to sue him." Upon hearing this, Feng Jiadong panicked and shouted, "Teacher Lin, what do you mean by this? They are international students. Do you want to create conflict between countries?" Lin Ke remained calm upon hearing this. The young blonde man collapsed nearby. Lin Ke's expression was serene as he replied, "So what if they are international students? They are in school, yet act so arrogantly. Do they have the privilege to do so?" Vice Principal Feng was quite shocked to hear Lin Ke's words, but he quickly regained his composure, pointing at him and shouting, "International students are always cared for and valued. Who do you think you are to say that? I will take this matter seriously. You'll be held legally responsible." Lin Ke remained calm as he looked at Feng Jiadong and responded with irritation. "Maybe you don't fully understand who will be dealing with whom." No matter how calm Lin Ke was, Vice Principal Feng became even angrier. He shouted furiously, "How dare a substitute teacher say that to me? We're going to the principal's office now, and I will deal with you." Before Feng Jiadong could react, Lin Ke coldly walked away, saying, "Let's go. I want to talk to the principal too." Upon arriving at the principal's office, Feng Jiadong quickly began to complain. "Principal Zhao, Lin Ke has assaulted an international student at the pool. This matter must be taken seriously, cannot be easily overlooked." Regardless of what he said, Lin Ke casually sat down on the sofa, propped his feet up, and said, "Why don't you mention that the international student named George harassed a female student and even urinated in the pool?" Feng Jiadong quickly turned back, his face full of resentment as he replied, "I'm talking to the principal. It's not your turn to interrupt. Be careful with your life." Before Feng Jiadong could finish speaking, Principal Zhao had already heard Lin Ke's words. His eyes full of anger shouted, "Lin Ke is the honorary vice principal of this school. We need to reconsider whether he has the right to intervene." Feng Jiadong felt as if he had been struck by lightning. He could only stand there, pale and panic-stricken. Principal Zhao continued sternly, "Feng Jiadong, your behavior is seriously problematic. You are temporarily suspended. I will report this incident to the Ministry of Education." Feng Jiadong's face turned pale, and he had no words left to defend himself. He could only wait for the outcome. Vice Principal Feng was now only a name as he walked out the door in resignation. The conversation had ended. Lin Ke returned to the classroom. A blonde female student ran over with a worried expression, holding a first aid kit, and asked Lin Ke. Seeing this, he explained the situation. "Sir is fine. It's just that Feng Jiadong has been dismissed. The school also imposed severe penalties for the behavior of the international students today." It seemed that the blonde female student was not interested in the earlier conversation, but focused only on the first aid kit. She shyly handed the kit directly to Lin Ke and said, "Teacher Lin, I give this to you." The blonde girl held a box of medicine, looking at Lin Ke with concern. "I saw your hand got injured when everyone was fighting earlier." Lin Ke looked at the wound on his hand and replied, "Ah, it's nothing, just a small injury, so I didn't pay much attention to it." However, she didn't listen to what he said and quickly applied a band-aid to his wound. After finishing, she took his hand and shyly thanked him. The atmosphere was somewhat gluey, but Lin Ke couldn't quite understand why she was thanking him. The girl blushed, seemingly smitten by Lin Ke's handsome appearance, and asked, "Does it still hurt?" Lin Ke could only burst out laughing and shake his head. She looked at him without blinking. Suddenly, Lin Ke's phone rang, breaking the silence between them. He turned to bid her farewell and walked away to answer the call. The person on the other end seemed a bit annoyed and asked, "What have you been up to lately? You didn't answer my calls. I was thinking of inviting you out for a drink." Lin Ke, wearing a swimming uniform, continued walking outside, a luxury car parked next to him. He said, "Okay, I just finished my work here. Where are we going to drink?" The person on the other end sounded quite satisfied with his answer and excitedly replied, "To the new urban area that everyone knows. Call me when you get there." Very quickly, Lin Ke arrived at the meeting point in his supercar. It was quite a luxurious place. He stepped out of the car and looked at what was in front of him, silently saying to himself, "Is this Kin Han's fortune? I had agreed to make the card for him. Lin Ke quickly made his way to the reception desk. The staff there greeted him warmly. Sir, are you here alone? He replied, I want to make a card. Without making Lin Ke wait long, the staff quickly and skillfully started to explain. What type of card would you like? There are 1,000, 10,000, and also. Lin Ke thoughtfully looked at the paper in her hand and decided, make the highest limit card. The staff member gasped, seemingly a bit scared, not believing his words, and explained, Sir, the kingly card is the highest level card we have. Its price is $188,888. Lin Ke's face was confident as he held the shining gold card, looking like a wealthy young man. He gently said, I will make 2 cards. Not only was the staff member shocked, but all the employees present also stared in disbelief as he walked away. They watched his back and silently thought, is he a friend of Boss Kin? Refreshing and generous at the same time. It seems that your friend has been there for a while, waving to you. Muffled sounds are coming from behind the doors over there. Suddenly, the door to room 8888 opens. Behind the door are girls dressed as sexy bunnies, serving Kin Han and his 2 brothers. Lin Ke quickly steps inside. Suddenly, the green-haired bunny rushes over, hugging Lin Ke's arm and says, Lin, why did you take so long to get here? We've been waiting for you. Kin Han and the 2 guys come out excitedly to welcome Lin Ke. Lin, come here, let me introduce you to some friends. He extends his hand to his right and introduces, this is Liang Jinming, the Sinhua airline company belongs to his family. Jinming happily waves at Lin Ke. Kin Han continues, next to him is Gaozong Yuan, the Longdang machinery company belongs to his family, specializing in the production of various types of cable cars. The cables on boats are products made by his company. Zong Yuan also smiles broadly, responding and greeting Lin Ke. Lin Ke politely shakes hands with the 2 and says, nice to meet you, nice to meet you. Let's drink to our heart's content later. After the enthusiastic greetings, everyone took their seats. Lin Ke held 2 kingly cards, squinting at Kin Han and said, the kingly cards at Hua Kingchi were just made for you. Hearing this, Kin Han burst into laughter, slung his arm around Lin Ke, and said, only you could do this. Suddenly, 2 women serving drinks entered, one of whom was Zhang Dingchun, a student of Lin Ke. As she walked in with the tray of drinks, she said, Sir, here is your wine and fruit. But it seemed she had seen someone she didn't want to see here. Her words started to stutter, and her expression was somewhat awkward. She stepped closer, mouth agape, startled, and exclaimed, Teacher Lin, why are you here? Upon hearing this, Kin Han crossed his legs and pointed at Dingchun, asking, Lin, is this your student? Lin Ke explained, she is a college pedagogy student. I taught one of her classes before. After hearing this, Dingchun looked somewhat devastated. He glanced at her, his brow was furrowed in discomfort. Her face flushed red, teary-eyed as if she felt exposed. She clutched her dress, stammering, Teacher Lin, I. Lin Ke gently placed the glass of red wine on the table and said, if she's an acquaintance, then sit down and have a drink with us. Kin Han nudged Dingchun, then sweetly coaxed, don't worry, you won't be at a disadvantage. 1 glass is $100. Drink as much as you can afford. Dingchun quickly waved her hand to decline. No, I don't know how to drink alcohol. Lin Ke was angry, kicking the table in front of him. His face darkened, his eyes filled with hostility. If you can't even drink, how dare you take on this job? If you can't drink, then don't work here. Hearing this, Dingchun replied in fear, Teacher Lin, please don't talk about my situation outside. She bit her lip tightly, trying to suppress the frustration inside, and asked, is it true that if I can drink 1 glass, I get $100, right? To prove the credibility of his words, Kin Han placed some money on the table and smiled. I have always been a person of my word. How much you can drink is for you to count. Dingchun had no choice but to sit on the ground, looking at the glasses of alcohol in front of her. She looked a bit frightened because she had never drunk alcohol before, but to earn that money, Dingchun tried to lift a glass and drink it all. After finishing the first glass, her face looked very uncomfortable. She covered her mouth with her hand, trying to swallow. Then she tried to pick up the second glass, striving to finish it. Lin Ke did not show any signs of joy. He silently looked at Dingchun with a serious expression. Kin Han turned to him and smiled. After having 2 glasses of alcohol, Dingchun could no longer bear it, clutching her stomach and turning to vomit all the liquor onto the ground. In the surprised gaze of the 2 men behind, Kin Han quickly approached, placed some money into her hand, and said, 2 glasses means $200. That's enough drinking. Go home. Dingchun pleaded, I can drink more, don't chase me away. Kin Han angrily replied, throwing up like that, how can we have fun? Hurry up and leave. At that moment, Dingchun could no longer control her emotions. Tears began to well up in her eyes. She silently left. Lin Ke could not hide his concern for the girl in front of him. He turned to Qin Han and said, "You should have someone follow her, just in case something happens." Qin Han quickly responded, "Okay, let me have my sister go." The long-haired youth happily agreed upon hearing the request. "I got it, Boss Lin." Qin Han curiously asked, "What is the relationship between you and that girl? Why are you so upset?" The girl serving drinks next to Lin Ke smiled and replied, "She's still one of my students. A bar is not a good place at all. I guess Lin is probably angry because of that." Qin Han picked up a glass of water, took a sip, and reminded, "People have grown up now, let them do whatever they want. Don't frown anymore. Drinking will lose its taste." Lin Ke picked up the glass of water to drink, but he couldn't help but think. Suddenly, his phone rang, the ringtone loud. Someone was calling. Lin Ke quickly answered the phone. "Hello?" On the other end, a voice said, "Young Master Qin, Mr. Lin, there are people looking for you outside." He panicked and asked back, "What?" Lin Ke slammed the glass down on the table. Seeing this, Qin Han ordered his subordinates, "Whoever is here, come with me outside to see." Suddenly, Lin Ke reached out to stop him and coldly said, "Don't do anything. You all stay in the room and keep drinking. Let me go outside and take a look." Just as he stepped out of the bar, Lin Ke saw a crowd gathering. Ding Chun was staggering, not in a clear state of mind. Yin Xai was supporting her. Suddenly, Ding Chun felt a severe headache, but due to a group of thugs blocking their way, the two couldn't leave. Lin Ke approached and asked, "What happened?" Yin Xai anxiously replied, "After leaving the bar, we ran into these people. They want to take Miss Ding Chun away." Lin Ke cast a sharp glance at the group of thugs and asked, "What's going on? Want you to prove yourselves as mafia?" The bald thug at the head of the gang shouted loudly, "Are you trying to protect that girl?" Lin Ke responded, "You want to take this girl, don't you?" The thug pointed behind him, his face smugly grinning, then threatened, "I have a say in this city's gang. She needs to serve drinks in our room. Are you trying to stop me? Do you know who's in our room? It's Song Wen Long, the bar owner here." Upon hearing his threat, Lin Ke remained completely calm. He raised his hand to his chin and replied, "Is that so?" The thug, seeing Lin Ke unfazed, was momentarily stunned by surprise. Lin Ke, with a threatening expression, pointed at the person in front of him and demanded, "You go call Song Wen Long here. If he doesn't come, I'll let you take this girl away." The bald thug rolled up his sleeves and contemptuously asked, "You want me to call someone? Am I supposed to go? Hurry up and hand her over. I have to take her away." Suddenly, Yin Xi, holding a sharp knife, quickly surged forward. His eyes were filled with rage. He slashed at the thug's leg, causing blood to splatter everywhere. Lin Ke put his hand on his head and exclaimed, "Is it that cool?" The bald man cried out in pain after being slashed in the leg. His henchmen just stood there, gaping. After a moment, Then he gently reached out to support Ding Chun, guiding her forward. Lin Ke also remembered to turn back and remind her, "Please tell Qin Han I said hi. I'm going back first." He bowed his head respectfully and replied, "Yes, of course." At that moment, Ding Chun suddenly felt guilty. She weakly said, "Teacher Lin, I'm sorry." Lin Ke kindly helped her to the car. As soon as she sat down, Ding Chun carefully fastened her seatbelt. Lin Ke turned to look at Ding Chun and saw her covering her mouth with her hand. He curiously asked, "Why are you covering your mouth?" Ding Chun awkwardly replied, "I'm afraid I might throw up." Hearing this, Lin Ke sighed and chuckled softly. The two of them went to a very luxurious hotel together. As soon as they arrived at the entrance, Ding Chun asked, "Teacher Lin, where is this place?" Lin Ke replied, "Bandao Hotel." Suddenly, Ding Chun's expression turned anxious. She wondered, "Why is Teacher Lin bringing me to a hotel? Does he want to do that with me?" The two stood in the elevator. Ding Chun felt a bit restless and scared, standing still and not daring to move. Once they arrived at the pre-booked hotel room, Lin Ke pulled out the room key and scanned it at the door, then quietly entered the room. Ding Chun stood outside in fear and said, "Teacher Lin, I want to go home." Lin Ke gently asked, "Do you think you can go home looking like this? You'll just worry me more if I see you like that." She hesitated and replied, "I." Her inner emotions burst forth at that moment. She cried loudly like a small child, tears streaming down her cheeks. Now she finally explained her grievances. "I have no one at home. My mother is in the hospital, needing heart surgery as soon as possible. My father is already gone. If I don't go to work to earn money, I'm afraid for my mother." Upon hearing this, Lin Ke became unusually gentle. He took out a small handkerchief and handed it to her to wipe her tears, then softly asked, "So that's why you went to that bar?" Ding Chun had stopped crying and replied, "The manager there said I looked very cute, that I just had to serve drinks and promote, so it wouldn't be dangerous at all." Lin Ke continued to ask, "How much does your mother's surgery cost?" This question made Ding Chun cry again. She clenched the handkerchief in her hand, her eyes filled with sorrow as she recounted. My grandmother and I have decided to sell the house we're living in and to borrow a little more. It should be enough for my mother's treatment. Lin Ke asked, how much can you sell the house for? She answered firmly, then we'll find a part-time job. I don't ask for much, just enough to earn some money. From inside the hotel, Lin Ke's voice echoed, call the manager and get me $500,000 in cash and bring it to room 268. The attendant immediately replied, yes, sir. Before long, the attendant brought him a suitcase full of money. He respectfully said, Boss Lin, here is the $500,000 cash you needed. Inside the suitcase were stacks of thick bills. Lin Ke opened the suitcase, placed it in front of Ding Chun, and said, you take this money for now. Right now, treating your mother's illness is the most important thing. She replied, moved, Teacher Lin, thank you very much. Ding Chun sobbed, her face flushed. She stammered, I don't know how to repay you. I can only. As she spoke, Ding Chun slowly lifted her dress. Lin Ke raised his hand to his face, closed his eyes in exhaustion, and then responded, you don't need to repay me. Just take this money to treat your mother. But Ding Chun moved even closer to Lin Ke. She began to kneel on the chair and placed her hand on his shoulder. At that moment, she looked just like a timid little kitten, softly saying, Teacher Lin, you hate me, don't you? I swear you're my first man. Lin Ke, his expression emotionless, replied, I didn't mean that. Ding Chun pretended not to hear. She leaned her mouth close to Lin Ke's ear and whispered, this is my first time. I don't know what to do. Just as Ding Chun kissed Lin Ke's ear, he gritted his teeth in anger. Lin Ke stood up and decisively pushed Ding Chun aside. She knelt on the ground, hugging his leg and sobbing, Teacher Lin, please don't go. Ding Chun looked up, her face incredibly pitiful, her eyes glistening with tears. Lin Ke intended to leave but felt reluctant when he saw her face. Ding Chun slowly opened Lin Ke's jacket and he shut his eyes, thinking this scene wasn't appropriate. So I will cut it out. Suddenly, a phone rang. Lin Ke reminded her, there's a call. Answer it. Ding Chun picked up the phone and said, hello. A voice on the other end called out, Ding Chun, hurry back here. Your uncle and I have arrived. She panicked and replied, what? Why are they here? Don't worry, I'll be right back. Lin Ke adjusted his collar and curiously asked, is there something urgent at home? Let me take you there. She agreed. Okay, I'm sorry to trouble you, teacher. Before long, they arrived at the Shangwan residential area. The two got out of the car. Lin Ke tried to reassure Ding Chun. Just go in and see what's going on. You don't need to worry too much about your mother's illness. I contacted the best hospital. They will come to take your mother for treatment. Ding Chun smiled gently, grateful as she replied, I really thank you so much, teacher. She also reminded, wait for me to sort everything out at home and I will continue to repay you. Hearing this made Lin Ke feel shy. He scratched his head, his cheeks flushed. The door of the house suddenly opened and the silver-haired Aunt Lu joyfully called out, Ding Chun. As soon as she saw her, the elder uncle pretended to ask, is Ding Chun back already? On the bed lay her poor mother, who was in a coma. The elder uncle glanced at Lin Ke, a sly look on his face as he asked, is this your boyfriend? From the way he's dressed, he must not be an ordinary guy. Ding Chun quickly shook her head in denial. This is my teacher. I hope everyone doesn't misunderstand. She turned to introduce Lin Ke. Teacher Lin, this is my elder uncle and my uncle. The elder uncle smiled and asked Ding Chun, I'll be straightforward. The $5,000 you borrowed last time, should you pay it back now? The uncle chimed in. Not only the $5,000 from your uncle, but also $4,000 from me. Ding Chun raised her hand to cover her mouth, her eyes wide in surprise. When I first borrowed money, it was only $3,000 for my mother's hospital stay. How did it become $4,000 now? The others were red-eyed with anger as they said, is there no interest on this loan? Ding Chun could not contain her frustration and shouted, you are being unreasonable. My father, when he was alive, gave you so much money, and now you are bullying my mother and me. Ding Chun yelled furiously, and you, why are you here too? Did I borrow money from you before? He awkwardly scratched his head and said, it's true that you didn't borrow, but when your mother was in the hospital, your aunt came to take care of her. If we consider the market price, it's several tens of dollars a day, right? Forgetting about the small change, if you give your uncle just $1,000, that would be enough. Hearing his words, Ding Chun was very astonished. How could these people be like this? She angrily shouted, I will definitely pay you back the money I owe, but right now my mother is in the hospital, and you come here to talk about money. Isn't that going too far? Lin Ke frowned and told her, Ding Chun, don't say too much. Hurry and get the money to pay them. Ding Chun wiped the tears from her face and replied, okay. Saying that, she turned around to take out the suitcase, which was full of large bundles of money. As soon as they saw the bundles of money, the eyes of her relatives lit up like car headlights. Ding Chun threw the money at them and shouted, "Here is $10,000, take it and divide it among yourselves. Please leave my house." Instantly, upon receiving the money, their faces brightened. They happily told Ding Chun, "Don't worry about this and make a fuss. We don't need it back yet. You just take it to take care of your mother first." The door was opened, and Ding Chun stood right at the door. "Please leave. I don't need your money anymore. What I need right now is for you to get out of here." They left with a bad taste in their mouths, and before departing, they shot her a cold glance. Looking at the pile of money filled to the brim in the suitcase, Ding Chun's grandmother anxiously asked, "Ding Chun, how did you get such a large amount of money? Don't tell me you did something wrong." Lin Ke smiled and explained, "Grandma, this money is a loan from me to Ding Chun. Once she starts working for my company, she will gradually pay me back." Hearing this, the grandmother felt relieved and smiled. "Oh, I see. Quickly thank your teacher, Lin." The assistant below shouted, "Boss Lin, the ambulance has arrived." Lin Ke turned to Ding Chun and said, "The ambulance is here. Hurry and pack your things to take your mother to the hospital." At the hospital in the patient room, Ding Chun gently covered her mother with a blanket. She turned to Lin Ke and expressed her gratitude. "Teacher Lin, thank you for helping my mother and me so much." Suddenly, Ding Chun shyly said, "How about I go back with you and try to repay your kindness?" Lin Ke smiled and replied, "Stay here and take care of your mother first. I will help you request a leave. I have some matters to attend to first. As for repaying the kindness, we can talk about that next time." He said that and turned to leave. The next day at some spa, Lu Ying and Sun Fu confidently went out together. Seeing them so cheerful, Lin Ke spoke up, "You two seem to be in great harmony." Sun Fu shyly scratched his head and replied, "Actually, the clothes we're wearing were all bought at the duty-free shop at the airport, but they are still from big brands." Lin Ke continued to ask, "You are programmers, but how can big brands only be about shirt styles?" Sun Fu looked at the spa and asked, "Director Lin, is this the largest spa in Shanghai? If you had mentioned earlier that you would come, I wouldn't have brought Lu Ying to such luxurious and expensive places." Lin Ke suddenly realized the implication of her words, preferring to unhealthy places. The staff warmly welcomed them. "Boss Lin, I knew it right away. You don't like the girls at our place, so you brought your friend here yourself." Hearing that, Lu Ying shot a glance and asked, "Why didn't you say that from the start?" 10 minutes later inside, Lu Ying reported the situation to him. "We have recruited 32 experts in the field of chips and photolithography. Here is their information." Lin Ke threw the stack of documents down, squinting as he questioned, "What qualifications do these 5 people have after years of business at sea? Why did you two offer such a high starting salary?" Lin Ke frowned and asked further, "What is the situation with these people?" Lu Ying hurriedly explained, "We don't want to take advantage of their expertise, but rather their relationships and communication skills. The lithography machine components need talented individuals from various fields to collaborate." After hearing her explanation, Lin Ke paused for a moment and said, "I understand your point. So when will the lithography machine project be initiated?" Lu Ying continued, "There is also a very important factor. Sun Fu and I have been there many times, but they still don't want to meet with us, not even once." Lin Ke teased, "Is the beauty strategy not effective at all?" Lu Ying looked at him with a judgmental glance. "Boss Lin, that's really annoying." Lin Ke ate the rabbit-shaped apple slices on the plate and said seriously, "I was just joking. Who is this person? Why do they seem so superior?" Lu Ying took out a stack of documents and briefly explained, "Vice President of VDAR, a world-class computer genius, Shen Tianzuo." Lin Ke looked at the documents. "We need to think of a way to attract this Shen Tianzuo. If that doesn't work, I will go with Lu Ying there again." Lin Ke continued, "Let's put Shen Tianzuo aside for now. I will take a trip there to see if I can persuade these people." Hearing this, Lu Ying and Sun Fu's eyes lit up. Lu Ying excitedly asked, "Is Boss Lin planning to go convince them himself?" Suddenly, the phone rang unexpectedly. Lin Ke answered, "Hello?" The person on the other end hurriedly announced, "Boss, there's a problem. You need to come to the company quickly." Lin Ke's expression darkened as he said, "I understand." He then sat down and told Lu Ying and Sun Fu, "I have an urgent matter to attend to now. Please remember to send me all the information about Shen Tianzuo via phone." Lu Ying replied with a smile, "Yes." When Lin Ke arrived at the company, Yunyuan was overjoyed to see him. "Boss Lin, you're here." Lin Ke confusedly asked, "What is the urgent matter that required me to come here?" CMSL approached and said, "Boss Lin, take a look at this." Lin Ke realized it was a court summons. His expression gradually turned anxious. "Who sent me the summons?" He Yunyuan turned to ask, "Boss, did you go out of line and get reported by some lady in Zhao Yang?" A few days ago, King Ke sent me a bill stating that you spent over $377,000 on two kingly cards. Be careful, or we might disclose this to her. James Zhao exclaimed in amazement. $377,000 for two kingly cards? That's really extravagant. He even Yuan smirked and said, "Don't you understand?" Lin Ke walked to his seat, sat down, and read the documents in his hands. The Langyun Corporation Fund is being prosecuted for deceptive practices. He even Yuan replied seriously. In general, didn't publicly announce the relief plan, violating the association's regulations, which is why we are being prosecuted. Xian Zhao added, "The one filing the lawsuit is Hong Kenjin, quite famous in the country. Moreover, the trial will open tomorrow. This is clearly unreasonable. There must be some hidden motives. We weren't given a chance to react." Lin Ke felt a bit confused. Hong Kenjin? Isn't Hong Kenjin the one who organized the charity event a few days ago? Could it be that Zhao Shenyang wants to take revenge on me for not confessing to King Ren? Lin Ke held the document and sat with his legs crossed on the chairman's chair, instructing the two. "The court time is 9 a.m. tomorrow. I will be there." He even Yuan asked back, "So what do we need to prepare? Should we hire a lawyer?" Lin Ke rested his hands on the table, and as soon as he heard Yun Yuan's question, he shot her a fiery look. "Prepare what? A bunch of chicks? Do we really need a knife to deal with them?" Lin Ke smiled widely, glancing at Yun Yuan's attractive S-shaped figure. "Tomorrow, wear a super short black dress for me, and then we'll go there together." He even Yuan looked at Lin Ke in confusion. When she understood, she immediately excitedly clasped her hands, her eyes sparkling. "Ah, is it appropriate to wear a super short black dress to a formal place like the courthouse?" Lin Ke crossed one leg over the other, gently stroking his chin, confidently replied, "You're going there to cheer, right? If you don't wear that, then what should you wear?" He even Yuan winked at Lin Ke, smiling brightly and making an okay sign. "No problem. I actually just bought a few yesterday." Lin Ke suddenly remembered something and took out his phone, looking for a photo of someone, which he then showed to Yun Yuan. "Right, help me investigate this person, Shen Tianzuo, the senior vice president of VR, as quickly as possible." He even Yuan leaned closer, looking at the photo on Lin Ke's phone, playfully stroking her chin. "This person is really impressive. He's a big fish. How deep you want to investigate?" Lin Ke rested his chin on his hand, seriously said, "As precise as knowing what day his wife has her period." He even Yuan laughed with her eyes squinted, confidently thumping her chest. "Leave it to me." A male colleague next to them, he even Yuan pointed to the machine room on the other side of the glass, playfully asking Lin Ke, "Boss Lin, do you want to inspect?" Lin Ke stood up from his chair, casually throwing out a comment. "What inspection? I'm not someone with a high position or power." As Lin Ke walked towards the door, he waved his hand to the two people behind him. "On the contrary, I do need to inspect the Zhao Yang Group." The high-rise building of Zhao Yang Group rises several dozen floors, completely clad in glass, dazzlingly bright under the sunlight. Lin Ke stepped into the main lobby of Zhao Yang Group. The receptionist immediately greeted Lin Ke respectfully. "Boss Lin, you have arrived. I will notify them right away." Lin Ke quickly stopped the staff member, placing a finger over his lips to signal silence. "I can go in by myself." The female employee blushed unconsciously as she looked at Lin Ke's handsome face so close to hers. As Lin Ke approached the office door, he was slightly surprised by the scene inside. King Ren was laying out a yoga mat in the office, drenched in sweat, and her tight sportswear accentuated her eye-catching curves. Her rounded backside was right in Lin Ke's line of sight. King Ren, kneeling on the ground practicing yoga, suddenly noticed someone's feet appear before her hands. Lin Ke was staring at King Ren, who was sweating profusely, yet still remarkably beautiful. King Ren looked up slightly wide-eyed in surprise. Lin Ke gently asked, "What are you doing?" King Ren blushed, picking up the towel to cover her chest, and stood up abruptly. "Ah, why did you come without saying a word?" Lin Ke looked at her sweat-drenched body and smiled gently, asking, "Is the office very hot?" King Ren, wiping her sweat with the towel, turned to him. "You wouldn't understand. My life is difficult, so I practice yoga a little." King Ren finished speaking and sat down heavily on a nearby wooden chair. Lin Ke put on a flattering expression, walked over with a sly smile, and began to massage King Ren's shoulders. "I know some highly skilled doctors. How about I take you there for a massage? People who sit for long periods like you are very prone to lumbar strain." King Ren enjoyed Lin Ke's care, closing her eyes and smugly saying, "You're kind, but I don't like having strangers touch me all over." Lin Ke's shoulder massaging action paused slightly. He immediately broke into a broad grin, seizing the opportunity. "Then that's not good. Let me serve you instead." Lin Ke took Jai King Ren's hand, pulling her towards the lone sofa in the office and gestured for her to lie down. Lie down on the sofa. I'll massage you. Lin Ke's hands were incredibly professional. He searched for suitable essential oils for the massage in a wooden box. He picked up a bottle of essential oil, smelled it, and said, "This scent seems unusual." Jai King Ren lay face down on the sofa for a long time without seeing Lin Ke take any action. Blushing, she turned to ask, "Can we start?" Lin Ke didn't hesitate any longer, opened the bottle, and poured the essential oil onto Jai King Ren's waist. Then, with skilled hands, he began to massage her from her waist up to her back. Jai King Ren's face turned redder, but it was clear she was very comfortable. Jai King Ren slightly parted her lips, accompanying Lin Ke's massage movements, feeling so good that she moaned. The atmosphere in the room suddenly became ambiguous with Jai King Ren's soft pleas. Lin Ke's hands moved up to her shoulders and then across Jai King Ren's face. Jai King Ren slightly opened her eyes and watched Lin Ke's hands change position. Suddenly, Lin Ke lifted Jai King Ren's face and kissed her lips. Jai King Ren blushed and accepted Lin Ke's kiss. The two of them were lost in a passionate, sweet kiss.